All right, we are going to start our next unit on la familia y otras personas. So the family and other people. For our family unit, you are going to need to submit a family photo by 8 a.m. tomorrow. This family photo should be fairly recent, and it should have at least 3 family members in it. You can be in the photo, but you don't count as one of the 3, so that would mean there would be 4 people if you're in it. It can be grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters, mom, dad, stepmom, stepdad, stepsisters, brothers, whatever. So it's your family, so submit a family photo to Canvas by tomorrow morning. You need to do the people vocab check worth 10 points. That is always due the night before the quiz, so make sure you check the Canvas calendar and look at what date you have to have that done by. I take the best score, and you can do this as many times as you need. Remember, the vocab check for this particular unit is dealing with nouns, so we never leave a noun naked, so always write the brother, the aunt, the neighbor. All right, first of all, I want you to look at the vocab on page 11. All of the words on the left are masculine. All the words on the right are feminine. And also, they are similar. So if you look at the first one, LTO, all you do is change the O to an A, and you make the feminine counterpart. So, TO and Tia are uncle and aunt. El novio and la novia are boyfriend and girlfriend. You can also use this for fiancé, but in your stage of life, it would refer to boyfriend and girlfriend. Hermano and hermana, make sure you know H's are silent because you do have to give an oral presentation about your family members in that photo you submit. So H's are silent. Hermano is brother, hermana is sister. Cuñado and cuñada mean brother-in-law and sister-in-law. You can write that down. However, you can draw a thin line through those 2 words because I won't ever ask you to know those because you really need to be married to have a brother-in-law or a sister-in-law. El primo and la prima mean cousin. Primo would be masculine, prima would be feminine. The way I remember this is premier means first, and this is your first cousin, primo. Hijo, H's are silent, J's sound like H's, and hija means son or daughter. And although you don't have children, you are your parent's son or daughter. Esposo and esposa looks like spouse, and that's exactly what it means. We have unique words in English meaning husband and wife. If you put spouse masculine for esposo, you're really not wrong, but of course we usually use the word husband and wife. Suegro and suegra mean father-in-law and mother-in-law. Once again, I have drawn a line through this because you need to be married to have a father-in-law or a mother-in-law. So not really a whole lot of application in your world. Padre and papa and madre and mama are 4 different words to mean 2 different people. Padre is father, papa is dad. Madre is mother, mama is mom. You can choose whichever words you want to use. It does not matter to me. And again, instead of changing the O and A like all the other words on the page, you're changing the first letter. P for father, meaning paternal, and maternal for the M for mother. Amigo and amiga, already words we've learned and used, so of course that means friend masculine or friend feminine. Padrastro, the suffix of astro means step. So if you look above and it says padre, that means father. Padrastro means stepfather. Same thing with madre and madrastra. Hombre and mujer is the word for man and woman. They are not like all of the other words in the sense of they look similar. They are 2 completely different words. Hombre, H's are silent. Mujer, J's sound like H's. El ahijado or la ahijada is God son or God daughter, or you can just generically write the word godchild masculine or godchild feminine. This I put on the sheet because culturally In all Spanish-speaking countries, they are more strict Catholic, and this is a very important part of their life. They have a mom and a dad, but they also have a godparent, or you are a godchild. And again, you might have that here in the States, but it's not as significant and doesn't play as big a role in the family. Padrino and Madrina, again, you can see the prefix of padre and madre. So this is godfather and godmother, which relates to the godchild, the word above. I'm not going to cross this one out, even though culturally you might not have a godfather or a godmother. If you're not a Catholic, you might call them a sponsor. So my children have sponsors because we are Lutheran. But we are going to read the story of Cinderella, and of course, there is a fairy godmother in that story. That's also why I'm going to have you know stepfather and stepmother, not because that applies to your family, it might, but also because we're going to read the story of Cinderella, and of course, it has, the evil stepmother and the fairy godmother in it. El vecino and vecina, if somebody lives in your vicinity, they are your neighbor. El nieto and la nieta are grandson and granddaughter. Abuelo and abuelito, abuela and abuelita, are grandfather and grandpa, grandmother and grandma. So again, like mother and father and mom and dad, I don't care which word you use, it's completely up to you. El sobrino and la sobrina, me niece and nephew. I just use the connection of pretend you have a niece named Sabrina. And then hermanastro and hermanastra, using that suffix of astro and astra. So this is stepbrother and stepsister. And again, this might not apply to your family, but we will be reading Cinderella, and of course you have the mean and bad stepsisters in that story. So that's your vocab, which really isn't a ton, but make sure you do that vocab check. All right, at the bottom, what I want you to do is fill in the conjugation for the verb tener. Tener is not a verb we have studied, but it is an ER verb, so it's conjugated similarly to an ER verb, with the exceptions that it's an E to IE stem changer, which we will do later in this trimester, and it has an irregular yo, which we will study again later this trimester. So go ahead and fill in the conjugations. Tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, tenéis, and tienen for the verb tener. So this means I have, you have, he or she has, we have, you all have, or they have. You could also use this verb with writing your sentences about your family, because you can use it to describe somebody's age. So if I wanted to write the sentence about myself, currently I would say yo tengo 52 años, which means I am 52 years old. Now literally it means I have lived, in essence, 52 years. But that's not how we translate it in English. So it means I am 52 years old. So if you want to use this to describe family members for your presentation, you'll probably use él or ella, he or she, tiene. And then you'll look up the number. If whoever you're describing is older than the number 29, because we've only learned the numbers from 0 to 29 so far, then look on page 25. Later on this try, we will learn numbers, large numbers. So if you need to know like 71 for your grandfather, or 40 for your mom, you can use those numbers, and all you do is replace the number, and then you just say él tiene, whatever the number is, and then the word años for years or years old.